Before we begin, viewer discretion is strongly advised. The following is for educational and entertainment purposes only. What you're about to read reflects reported courtroom testimony, a verbatim account from the federal trial involving Sean Diddy Combs, as documented by Inner City Press. But beyond the official transcripts lies a shockwave that no one could have predicted. In an explosive twist that blindsided the courtroom, Wendy Williams, the undisputed queen of Hot Topics, a woman many sought to silence, has now taken the stand. Her presence wasn't merely symbolic. It marked the moment when decades of whispers, speculation, and industry backlash coalesced into a testimony that shook the foundations of the entertainment world. Wendy Williams didn't arrive in court to fan flames or chase headlines. She came to deliver the truth she's been echoing into microphones since the 1990s, a truth long dismissed as gossip, now central to a federal investigation. As she entered the courtroom, there was no flash of celebrity, no air of tabloid spectacle. Instead, there was the unmistakable feeling that someone who had been buried alive by media machinery had clawed her way to the surface, not for fame, but for vindication. Taking her seat and adjusting her microphone with steady, deliberate control, Wendy wasted no time. "I was never messy. I was never bitter. I was never lying. I was early," she stated. Her voice didn't tremble. It thundered with resolve. Before the court, she laid out years of receipts, old transcripts, internal emails, and a timeline detailing Diddy's alleged attempts to discredit, threaten, and silence her. She traced it back to the early 2000s, painting a picture of an industry that was not only complicit in Diddy's actions, but actively protective of them. "Everyone knew he was untouchable," she testified. "The moment she mentioned his name on air, calls would come, station managers would warn her, advertisers would withdraw, and the threats? They weren't subtle. 'You're doing too much, Wendy,' they'd say. 'You're going to get hurt.'" One incident she recounted involved being physically chased outside her radio station by members of the girl group Total, a group she had recently criticized. "That's not coincidence," Wendy declared. "That's coordination." But Wendy didn't retreat. Every time she spoke about Diddy's behavior, from the treatment of artists under Bad Boy to the rumored nature of his private gatherings, her career took another hit. Sponsorships disappeared. Syndication deals evaporated. She described her career as a battleground, and yet she never surrendered. "You can blackball me, you can threaten me, but you can't erase me," she told the jury. And then her testimony expanded. Wendy pivoted toward another industry titan, someone she had long implicated alongside Diddy, Jay-Z. With a sharpened tone, she explained how you can't discuss Diddy without addressing those who stood beside him, who smiled with him as accusations and abuse quietly festered. "That includes Jay-Z," she said, eyes scanning the jury before dropping a bombshell, "Foxy Brown." Wendy described the timeline. Foxy was 15, Jay-Z 27. She presented lyrics he allegedly penned for the teenager and questioned the morality, the legality, and the silence surrounding it. "This wasn't just a label signing," Wendy said. "This was grooming." She referenced a long-rumored tape, Jay-Z, Foxy, and Jamie Foxx, a tape that, according to her, vanished under suspicious circumstances after Foxy's home was reportedly burglarized. "Coincidence? I think not," she added. Her voice remained calm, but her words cut with surgical precision. She revealed that her career faced direct retaliation every time she mentioned these topics. She recalled being fired shortly after urging an investigation into Jay-Z's relationships. "They called me toxic," she said, "but everything I asked was worth asking." When asked for evidence, Wendy delivered emails, call logs, and testimonies from producers who backed out when Jay-Z's name surfaced. She told the jury how Jay-Z's team allegedly coordinated a quiet but effective blacklist campaign against anyone who brought up Foxy. "I lost sponsors not for being messy," she emphasized. "I lost them because I was right." Then came the most damning part of her testimony, one that prosecutors reportedly described as a cornerstone of the trial. Wendy revisited what she called the part no one wanted to believe, the infamous freak-offs. She claimed she first heard about them in the late 90s. Not parties, but coordinated operations. Guests handed over phones, NDAs signed, candle escorts, assigned rooms. It wasn't a house party, she said. It was a ritual. She cited an on-air interview with Karine Superhead Stephansz, who had described one of these events in detail. According to Wendy, Superhead didn't fabricate her account. It echoed stories from other guests, people who reportedly left these events shaken. Some described IV bags afterward, medical assistants on standby. This wasn't socializing, Wendy testified. This was organized depravity. She handed over pseudonym lists, individuals who, in private, had recounted their stories to her. The accounts allegedly mirrored those of Cassie Ventura and other accusers tied to the case. And then came the infamous baby oil detail, something Wendy had joked about years ago on air, but which federal investigators later corroborated, citing over 1,000 bottles recovered. "You know how I knew?" she asked. "Because people told me. I was the only one willing to say it." Shifting focus, Wendy spoke passionately about Cassie, someone she had tried to defend publicly for years. "Y'all saw the diamonds, the music videos. I saw a scared girl," she said. Wendy claimed she'd tried to raise alarms as early as 2008 about the dynamics of Diddy and Cassie's relationship, the imbalance of power, the control, the isolation. "That's not love, that's leverage," she told the court. The courtroom was silent as Wendy described how Diddy's alleged tactics, unannounced visits, phone access, control over her surroundings, aligned with claims Cassie would eventually make in her legal filing. "I said it then, and I'll say it now. She didn't need a boyfriend, she needed a bodyguard." Wendy testified that even the smallest moments, like Cassie flinching in interviews, were signals of deeper trauma that the public missed. Wendy also recalled a 2018 incident where Diddy allegedly forced his way into Cassie's home. "People don't understand," she said. "When a mogul wants control, they don't need permission. They make the world rearrange itself." She outlined the architecture of that control, the grooming, the isolation, the illusion of luxury as a method of dominance. Her testimony didn't stop at Diddy or Jay-Z. Wendy pulled the lens back wider, naming others she claimed were part of the machinery that upheld this culture of silence. "You think this is about Diddy?" she asked. "It's about the ecosystem that protected him." She named Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey. A collective stillness fell over the courtroom. She recalled how Oprah had once promised not to exploit Wendy's story of abuse, only for Wendy's abuser to later appear on Oprah's platform. That wasn't just betrayal. That was retaliation. She presented emails and evidence pointing to coordinated image management, referencing a subject line from one leaked message, "Managing optics, Wendy, Puff, Tyler." At one point, Wendy pulled out a thick file folder, a collection of NDAs, internal memos, and crisis management emails that, in her words, were never supposed to see the light of day. One NDA from 2007 forbade discussion of private events with Combs, with clauses threatening public retaliation. "That's how deep it went," she said. The evidence continued. A 2015 email from a luxury hotel referencing preparations for Diddy's stay, candlelight, discretion, setup assistance. She read internal messages that showed coordinated media spin, paid blog placements, redirected narratives, philanthropic stories to drown out the dark. Then she revealed she had been offered a syndication deal if she agreed to drop these topics. She refused. "They tried to buy my silence," she said. "I didn't sell." She told the court that the silence they purchased cost others their voices, their safety, their peace. And yet, Wendy never folded. Through every threat, every blacklist, every canceled booking, she kept talking. "This trial isn't the beginning," she said. "It's the end of a cover-up." And as she looked across the courtroom, she declared, "You see Diddy on trial, but I see the entire tower, a structure built on NDAs, fear, party invites, billion-dollar handshakes, and crushed voices." Her final words were vintage Wendy, commanding, unflinching. "I was called bitter, I was called crazy, but I was right, and I'd rather be right in hell than be silent in heaven." Looking directly at Diddy, she added, "You thought your power could outlast the truth, but now you sit where it finally caught up with you." Then, turning toward the gallery one last time, she walked out, not as a media personality or celebrity, but as a woman who had spent 20 years trying to warn a world that wasn't ready to listen. Now they are.